Hey everybody, welcome to the Double Stuff Podcast. We are double the hosts, double the topics, and double the fun. I'm Sarah.
I'm Charity.
I'm Alan.
And I'm Dan.
And guys, we are at the end of the year.
We did it again.
Yay, we made it.
we did it. We survived. We had a great Christmas. Did everyone have a good Christmas all in all?
Did have a good Christmas, per usual.
Per usual. This is the time of year you have this weird like in between, because we had all that anticipation of Christmas and stuff, and now it's over, and it's like, well, I call it the December 26th hangover, where it's like you've hit that high, and now you're like, oh man, it's down now. But
Holiday Hangover sounds like a Hallmark film that they don't show.
Yeah. Maybe not a hangover, but definitely December 26th leftover. That's really what's going on. We got lots of good food still to eat, cookies. Got my 10 of Topsy's popcorn from.
Ooh.
Yeah.
a little endorsement there.
Well, it's one of. I'll tell you what. I've had a lot of popcorn, and there's one that I will stand by, and it's Topsy's gourmet popcorn, and it is a premium. I only get it once a year, but it's
your
delicious.
special Christmas treat to yourself.
It is.
Okay, I need to do that because I went and bought a $6 tin of popcorn from Dillon's and immediately regret.
Yeah. Nope.
It was terrible.
Yeah. Can't do that.
Well, you don't get enough popcorn in those because it used to be really big.
I'm glad because it was less to throw out. It was garbage.
I don't doubt it. Yeah, I've done the cheap tins. And the one thing about the cheap tins, though, is that they're small and they're really good bow savers. So if you're not an animal ripping up your Christmas presents, you can like save the bows and then reuse those.
Who does that?
Absolutely not. No, I am an animal.
No
I
way.
will rip everything to shreds like a wild bear.
No, I mean
yeah.
you can at least with Scotch tape you can get like 6 to 7 reuses of a really good bow.
Yeah, our stuff doesn't
Not the
last
ribbon.
very
I'm
long.
not talking about the ribbon. I'm talking about like the
Like the little
adhesive
stick-on bow?
You also like undo your presents very carefully and then like refold the wrapping paper back
Sarah
together. to
does.
I'm not doing that. Oh, that's Sarah?
Sarah, since she was little, birthdays, Christmas, anything, she will like take 20 minutes opening up one. She's like, I don't want to rip the
I don't want to
paper.
rip it. I try to be delicate.
It's made to be ripped.
I am usually the last one to open presents because I am slow with it.
Yep.
And Charity and Christy are like savages, like, oh,
That's right. That's satisfying, though. It's satisfying.
Yeah, I waited 364 days to rip my paper. Thank you very much.
I mean, I've done better. I've ripped more now, but I'm still kind of slow with it.
Okay, now pro tip for opening presents, and I'm sure you guys all do that too. If you get something that's super nice that comes in a box or something like that, we don't put that by the curb, right? We put it like in like a hefty like black leaf sack or something like that. You don't want to advertise.
You don't want to advertise. Yeah, that's true. Like a TV or
okay.
something.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. I
That's a
didn't
good
think
point.
about that, but
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Or just tear your boxes down and recycle
Now
them like
that's
you're
what
supposed to.
Yeah,
I'm
that's what we
religious
do.
about that.
Yeah.
You know, I take the utility knife and I cut all the cardboard down to like, I don't know, 8 by 8 squares, and at one, you can fit more into a bag if you cut it down, and then 2, like what you're saying, if you get a new TV, you don't want to put the new TV box on the curb and just
It's
say,
like, hey guys,
guess-
come rob me.
yeah, you don't.
What I got.
You
Guess
don't
what's
want.
inside this
You don't want the wet bandits coming by your place.
the wet bandits. We're the sticky bandits now.
Well, one of the things I was going to talk about, because
Mom, what are you doing, Mom? Harry, don't move. Mom, what are you doing?
So one of the things that we're doing today, because this is our holiday leftover episode for our, end of 2021 show. So was there anything that you guys wanted to talk about we didn't get a chance to cover in every episode for this year? Now is the time to squeeze in a last bit of Yuletide Christmas cheer.
Is that speak now or forever hold your peace type of thing?
So that's
Wait till Christmas 2022.
That's right.
yeah.
Yeah, I did actually have a from our like Christmas memory tradition stuff. We have sort of a family memory now. My grandparents on my mother's side grew up in lived in upstate New York my whole life, and we would go visit. And it's very not what you think of New York. It's very hilly, lots of countryside, lots of like forests and stuff like that. And they kind of lived in the country, not like we think of it here in Kansas. They had a few neighbors, about 4 of them on the corner there, and then the rest of it was just fields, lakes, forests, all that stuff. So we were sitting there. It was one of those like picturesque Christmas days, right, with like snow was covering everything, and we were all at the house, and there was like a big window looking out on the road, and I'm sitting there, I'm eating some kind of candy or something like that, I think, that morning, and a llama runs up the street.
Llama?
Yeah. And I'm young, right? Maybe 20 years ago, so it's like not like when
It's
people
like a magical animal.
Well, but nowadays, like people raise llamas, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of more. It wasn't then.
No.
And I was just like, there's a llama outside. I caught so much grief from everybody.
Everybody thought
They
you were
were
lying?
like, no, there's not. They're like, it's probably a deer. I'm like, I grew up in Kansas. I know what a deer looks like, and it's not a deer.
Santa's not using reindeer anymore.
Yeah.
He's using llamas
Exactly.
now.
So we're kind of like, it was a little bit of arguing. I'm trying to insist that yes, I did actually see this llama. And then 3 guys come running up the street.
The wise
And
men.
people see them at that point. So everybody's like, what is going on? So we go and we open the door, we look out, and then the llama comes back and starts running around
Story.
What?
with these 3 guys chasing it around like my grandparents' yard, right?
a cartoon.
So it turns out that the people down the street had gotten a llama for Christmas, or some llamas for Christmas, not just a single one.
Wow.
I think for raising for wool or whatever they have. And one of them escaped.
Oh my
So
god!
just people running around in the sno trying to chase down this llama.
That's wild.
And I was vindicated. I was like, I
so
told you there
great.
was a llama.
You're like who's the character from Goonies that was always making up stories like
Oh yeah.
that did the truffle shuffle?
Yes. Oh my gosh, I want to say Chunk, but I don't think that's right.
No, Chunk was the
He was the big guy.
The big guy.
Yeah, I can't remember now, but yeah.
I can just see the chasing, like the Benny Hill music in the background. While they're
Exactly.
trying to chase, I was like, oh my, that's a great story. That's the most random.
Okay,
that's probably the
next
most random.
Christmas, we're going to get you something with a llama on
There
it.
you go,
We need
yeah.
to get you a,
It comes up every year. It's like, hey, remember the Christmas llama? It's not a deer.
What's weird is that you can actually make like a kid's story out of that. It's just
Right.
it's just so crazy.
It's another Hallmark movie.
That is a llama
Get
for
on it,
Christmas.
Hallmark. We got your story right here.
Or making an animated movie about the llama that tried to escape for Christmas
Oh,
to get back home.
okay.
I think speaking of vindications, I think it was Chunk, or at least that's what just came up. I wonder what was the name of the brother.
Well, now I can't remember. I haven't seen Goonies
See,
for a minute. We got to rewatch it.
I've yet to see the movie. I wouldn't be able
Let
to.
that one slide. That one slid through the cracks of 2021.
Okay, well, I had a few things, not necessarily Christmas memories. I think I brought up as much as I could, but some of the notes that I had before for some of the other episodes I didn't get a chance to cover. So if you guys have listened to last week's episode, which was our Christmas radio show, we did a Do You Hear What I Hear sketch. And Charity was a cute little sheep, and then Alan was the shepherd.
I've always wanted to be a sheep.
And so I was having issues trying to figure out how to end it. I wasn't sure how to end this. And so I was like, well, Sarah, obviously we need to look up some sheep puns.
Nice.
So for one thing, for Alan, your character that you're seeing things or hallucinating or
The
whatever.
hallucinating shepherd.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, well, another term for that is wool gathering, which kind of worked out because of sheep.
Ah.
I wasn't sure how to squeeze in wool gathering,
Yeah,
but I
I've
was like,
never-
I'll say it
I've
now.
never heard of that expression. Though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
fine.
Apparently, it's an old phrase, been around for a few hundred years, just something that we don't, kind of like we were talking about earlier, is
Back
words
when
that we
people
don't.
picked mushrooms and we're like, is this a good one?
Yeah.
Oh, he's wool gathering.
No, it's like the word upsot is words
Yeah.
that we don't use anymore, but yet somehow it slips into our random lexicon. So I'll go ahead and throw in some sheep puns. So
Nice.
knock knock,
Who's there?
Barbara.
Barbara who?
Barbara, black sheep, have you any wool?
Oh,
That's pretty bad. That's pretty bad.
Yeah, I don't know
I would
about
like
that
to
one.
say I did not make up these puns.
No, but you said it. You
But I
repeated
said it.
You made our listeners listen to that horrible pun.
They dealt with it. They've heard it. It cannot be retracted now. How do sheep in Spain say Merry Christmas?
Felice. It's Felice.
Yeah,
Navidad.
Feliz Navidad.
Oh.
Yeah,
Pretty bad too.
the one that cracked me up, which I thought was funny. What do you call a sheep with no legs?
Sheep with no legs.
Lamb chop?
Dinner. I
A cloud.
don't know.
It was horrible. It was such a stupid joke, but I laughed the hardest at that one because it was so stupid.
Because you like dumb puns. Of course, Alan gets the Feliz ultimate dad jokes here.
I just thought it was funny.
What's interesting
terrible.
too, and I think that we've talked about this at one point. We went to, we got the privilege of actually seeing baby sheep that had just been born at the Sedgwick County Zoo.
Oh.
We just, when we saw them, they were only a few hours old. And what was bizarre was they have like cattails. They have long tails. And I was talking to the zookeeper. I'm like, what's going on with the sheep's tail? And they said, oh yeah, all sheep, just for hygiene, because of the thick fur and wool, not fur, wool, they bob all the sheep's tails just for hygiene. But all sheeps naturally have long tails.
I didn't know that.
I never
I
know that.
didn't know that either.
Yeah.
And we just chop them off?
Yeah, so that they don't have, problems.
Oh,
Problems.
okay. Still, that's
I'm assuming they don't.
something I never
I don't know if
Animal
they feel it or not.
husbandry, I'll choose not to look too far into it. Because there's a lot of things in animal husbandry that you're like,
Yeah, something wrong here.
Seems weird.
I guess that's one way to do it.
That's a weird Google search history.
That is
Yeah, don't look up animal husbandry.
actually.
But for those
yeah.
that do it, we're glad you do it. Just do
Don't
it.
don't tell us about
Yeah,
it.
do it on a far, far, far away.
Far away. It is kind of funny, a bit slightly off topic. Me and Charity were talking about this, talking about like reading your Google search. Like if we were to look at each other's phones right now to see like what our history would be, it would be so random and hilarious. Like me and Charity, like if you look at Charity's stuff, I think hers is like pets and
I've got everything from like cat videos to British dramas to random, well, since we were talking about sheep, Sarah and I, this is not Christmassy at all, Sarah and I watched, was it Clarkson's Farm on
Yes.
Amazon Prime, and he has this sheep farm, and so some of the terms I didn't understand, as we were sort of hinting to, I looked that up. So I do have some sheep videos in my YouTube history.
Yeah.
so it's just funny because the algorithm is like, wow, this is a really
My
interesting
algorithm
person.
is totally geared towards like dadhood. It's like bushcraft. It's like how to make like fishing lures, how to sharpen, how to restore like axes.
that might be a little suspect. Like,
Yeah.
ooh, why are you learning about how to do
Amazing.
that?
Like there's practically like silent videos, like no music, no anything, and it's just hands on
Yeah, like restoration videos.
yeah, restoration videos. where
I
you just
started
get,
getting
like,
into those
old-
last
yeah,
year.
they're amazing. They take these like artifacts that are hundreds of years old,
Mm-hmm.
look terrible, and at the end you're like, that's so cool.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I'm not wanting to do it, but I appreciate. I guess a lot of my videos is just appreciation of craftspeople. I like
Yeah.
I like to see people that are genuinely passionate about what they do and how they do it from start to finish. I think
Yeah.
that's incredible.
I like
That
those satisfying like cleaning videos where you
Yeah.
take a nasty rug and then someone goes over it with like a rug carpet cleaner thing, and then it's
Yeah.
this nice white shiny rug, and I will watch that stuff for hours. So that's also in my YouTube history.
I'm not familiar with any of that.
Yeah. What was your
Oh,
history
mine's like
be?
video games and
Walkthroughs.
like obscure books that I want to
So
read at some
basically
point.
normal, like what
yeah.
we would expect from
Yeah,
It's just
exactly.
Dan algorithm. That's what that is.
I mean, it's weird. It's all over the place, but it's not. Yeah, it's not anything like cleaning. I definitely don't watch anything on cleaning.
Yeah.
I have seen some of those restoration videos of them cleaning like old '80s video games, though.
Nice.
So maybe that's a good.
Oh, now you piqued his
Yeah,
interest.
Yeah.
You
He's like,
You
"What?"
just have to blow into the cartridge, stick it in the system, and then bang on it until it works.
I always wondered.
Yeah, but for
I mean, that's
15
what everybody
minutes?
did, but is that?
No, I don't think that's how you're supposed to do it.
But it's a tried and true method, though.
Yeah,
We didn't have
kicking
the
and
internet back then. though, so-
Yeah.
so we're getting close to the end of the year, like I said before. So we're working our way to, should old acquaintance be forgot, never brought to mind. So I think we mentioned this. I think also last year for New Year's. But are there any New Year's, like either New Year's Eve or New Year's Day things that you guys typically do in terms of maybe not necessarily traditions, but just do you guys get together during the end of the year?
Not typically. We used to mark the New Year with friends, parties, all that stuff. Nowadays, I'm lucky if I make it to midnight on that day. It's just like, nope.
Damn, you're
Yeah.
sounding like an old man.
Oh, I am.
Yeah, I'm the same way.
Yeah.
I do know that I remember both grandparents having different New Year's Eve traditions. I remember my grandma on my father's side. She would make a specific bean. I think it's like black eyed peas and
yeah.
ham, and like that was her New Year's tradition. And then my grandmother on my mother's side, more of a German heritage, would make Bierrock, and we would go. She would make batches and batches of Bierrock, which is basically like a German empanada or something. It's like ground beef, cabbage, and it's just a meat pie, a handheld meat pie, and we would munch on that and play games all New Year's Day, and that was a lot of fun.
That sounds like fun.
Yeah.
That's actually pretty cool. I think the black eyed peas, I think that is a form of like
It's supposed to be
a
good
good luck thing.
Oh, okay.
Because I think we did it once. I don't know, 3-4 years ago. It's been a few years. I think we only did it one time.
Why don't I remember this?
And one of the things that we adopt in our family, it's a Chilean tradition, is you have 12 grapes. And everybody eats 12 grapes.
I just looked that up. That apparently you have to eat 12 grapes at midnight. That's some kind of
we do
that's some
that.
kind of weird tradition.
That's just one of our own personal.
Why?
Is that to start the year off so you don't get scurvy? You know?
I don't know. No, it's meant for luck for each month of the year.
Each month of the year, it wards off bad luck for the upcoming year. So
that you get luck
Nice.
all year. Yeah.
So I thought that was kind of interesting. Yeah, there's a lot of really cool traditions. I didn't realize there actually was one. But yeah, like I heard about the black eyed peas. The grapes was kind of a new one for me. Typically what we do as a family, and that's changed a little bit. We used to all 5 of us get together, kind of praying the new year. But usually me, Charity, and Christy, we'd be at home watching movies and complaining about how there's nothing to do on New Year's. Every once in a while, Charity goes out with her friends at the New Year. They kind of have some kind of get together. So
Usually like a game night or something.
a game night, yeah. Now, what we used to do, we were still living in Indiana. The church we used to go to, I think, was maybe we probably all get together around 8 or 9. We'd have like a really late dinner, watch a movie, or do some kind of fun games and stuff, and then pray in the new year. But that was always a lot of fun, everybody getting together, and so I kind of miss coming as a group, but it is kind of fun, just And I can stay awake after midnight. Apparently, the
Oh,
old
you do that
fogies over
anyway.
here. I am more of a night owl, so I'm pretty good.
I'm
at
a
that.
morning person. I can stay up late if I have something to do, but if you're just like looking at the clock and being bored, I'm just gonna go to bed.
I don't always go to bed early. I was up last night till midnight playing a game, and I woke up at 6 this morning and kept playing the same game.
Well, see, but all I gotta do now is roll that over for the new year. So I'm gonna be like, you know what? If I play a game between 11:55 and like 12:03,
But that's only fun for me.
I mean that's I guess that
take
still
a
works.
nap beforehand so that you can stay up after midnight.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yes, and then you wake up, be like, oh, it's midnight, Happy New Year. And then you just go back to sleep. Like the very uneventful person that we are. But thank you guys. This has been fun. I hope you've enjoyed all the episodes that we've been doing for the past year, and I hope you join us for next year, because I'm sure 2022 is going to be a great year for all of us. We got plenty more humor, and hopefully got more humor and recording shows along the way. But if you want to check out all the holiday episodes that we've done, we did some last year, episodes 31 to 40. Check those out. Check out the ones that we've done this past season on all the podcast platforms and on our website at doublestuffpod.com. Check us out on all the social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube at Double Stuff Podcast, and on Twitter at Double Stuff P, and that's the letter P. Happy New Year, everybody!
Happy New Year!
Let's be forgotten and never brought to